Hi, Lee. Welcome to our show.
Hello, Savannah. Welcome to our show.
What's the latest? What's the greatest?
Oh, goodness. Life is really full. A little too full, to be honest, but I'm doing okay.
How was your AI conference in Waco?
It was fascinating, yes. And for those of you who are interested, who are listening to the subtext but don't listen to No Small Endeavor, this is a call to go check out our AI series that will be coming out in April. I'm not sure when this episode's coming out.
Nice.
Soon, but yeah, check out our 3-episode series on AI and thinking about it from a theological, philosophical, cultural perspective. But yeah, I loved my trip to Waco, and hoity-toity Tennessean, I never thought I would say I loved my trip to Waco. But Waco's a nice town.
It's gotten cool.
It's gotten cool.
There's some cool restaurants.
Yeah.
Cool coffee shops.
Yep. That's right.
I like Waco.
The weather was wonderful while
I
we were
know.
there.
And
Yeah.
the sky. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Big sky.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I lived in Texas for 3 years, so I learned to love the big sky of Texas.
Oh, yeah. When you went to Abilene?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was great to be out there. Yeah.
I know your history, Lee.
What's new with you?
I know your
Not
history,
as
Lee.
much as you think you do.
Not you need to tell me some surprise soon. Shock me.
What's new with you?
Let me think. I just finished a great book called Strangers.
Strangers.
I think it's like the top 3 right now on the New York Times list by a gal named Belle Burden. It's about her marriage falling apart during COVID.
Oh.
I love a good memoir. And she is like old money. So her like 5 generations deep comes from just like very wealthy New York families that have been very prominent in various ways. And so it kind of mixes up this like class thing with the pressure of being a woman in that type of generational lineage with your marriage falling apart and you being like having to go to the country club every day and act like nothing's wrong. So like very interesting dynamics that I enjoyed reading about. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have new music coming out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The music has come out. It's called Songs of Peace in Times of War, which was named actually in August of last year.
How about that?
Just very sad, but good timing.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And
You pleased with it?
I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah, good.
It's just a peacemaking record, Lee,
Excellent.
which I feel like is very up your alley.
I look forward to listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do want to read a review before we get started.
I want to give one more quick music thing
Oh, go ahead.
that I've listened to lately.
Okay.
Dvorak's Humoresque. Do you know that little piece?
Okay. I literally don't even know those words that you're saying.
I guess we would say is Anthony Dvorak is the composer,
Okay.
and he has this little piece called Humoresque. Well, Sophia, put us 8 seconds of that in here.
Humoresque.
And I listened to it on repeat. It's lovely.
Nice. Okay. I just pulled it up.
Yeah, there you go. Check it out.
Lee, you are just difficult to pin down. Who would have thought? Dvorak for life. I'm reading a review. It's actually kind of antagonistic towards you. So I thought we could see.
Thanks. Bring it on.
Okay, so during the reality TV episode where we talked about America's Next Top Model,
Yes.
you talked about how you don't like reality TV
Yes.
in general, where you don't think it's real and that there's always posturing happening. Someone named Ale said he's not wrong, but can he really argue that reality TV incentivizes posing or posturing any more than, I don't know, a podcast? And what I said, like what I wish that I could have told this person is, you actually said that as soon as we stopped filming.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I know
said that
that
to
I
me.
was thinking it.
Okay, so what were you thinking as it relates to that?
Well, I think I said anytime there's a microphone or a camera that it changes the dynamic. Because,
Yeah.
And so there it is, right? And here it is. And so, yes, no, who was it again?
Ale.
Ale?
Mhm.
Yeah, Ale, your point's well taken. You're right.
Yeah.
But I still think it's different because reality TV is claiming to be reality. And a podcast is not reality.
What are we?
We are a...
We
are
What if I just shut down?
We're a genre. We're a genre. I don't know. I haven't thought about it sufficiently to know.
Yeah.
If I'm satisfied with that answer.
Because I do feel like we are this is really us. I would say the difference between us and reality TV is that there are no producers wanting to manipulate our emotions. That's one big difference.
Yeah.
Is that we're coming in prepared and wanting to have a specific type of conversation to serve the common good. So that might be one difference.
Right. Good.
But I do think that for me, the biggest difference is that if this was not being physically recorded, is I would not wear any makeup.
Interesting.
I probably wouldn't shower either. What would you do differently?
I would still shower.
Okay, that's good.
And I didn't shave today.
Nice.
Because I think I'm going to be okay without the shave. But yeah, no, I think that there's a sort of, we're all always attentive to who's listening to us.
Yes.
But I do think, like you're saying, there seems to be a sort of posturing on reality TV that somehow seems to be qualitatively different than the posturing that we are doing right now.
Yeah. But Elle, you've given us something to think about.
Yes,
Maybe
indeed.
Next time we'll talk about how we're different from America's Next Top Model.
Yeah. Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
On that note, let's start the show. Welcome to the Subtext, where we go beneath the headlines and beyond the obvious. I'm Savannah Locke.
And I'm Lee C. Camp.
If you like what we're doing and want to help us get the show in front of more people, please do us a favor by following and rating it wherever you listen. If you leave us a review, we might read it on the show. Give us 5 stars, hype us up. If you want to watch full episodes, you can find that on YouTube and Spotify. You can follow the show at The Subtext Show, me at Savannah_Locke, and Lee at Lee C. Camp. Lastly, if you have any questions or suggestions for the show, just DM us on Instagram at The Subtext Show. Okay, Lee.
Okay, Savannah.
Today we are talking about MLMs.
MLMs.
Multi-level marketing.
Multi-level marketing. Why do you want to talk about MLMs?
This was a suggestion from our producer, Sophie. And it's actually shocking that we haven't done it already.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any experience?
I will say that I never would have put MLMs on a list of potential episode topics.
Okay, tell me why. What do you think of when you think of MLMs?
No, I'm not going to tell you yet. I want you to tell me first.
You're kidding. I'm crushed.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were ever involved in one.
Because it relates to a story that I'll tell.
Okay, nice. Well, MLMs, I feel like have played a very large role in my social life. I have never been part of one. I actually have never even bought anything from an MLM before. Oh no, I'm lying. I have once. But besides that, I haven't. I love how I'm fact checking myself to make sure that I'm not lying. So I am not a participator in MLMs, but it has influenced my social connections because MLMs are otherwise known as network marketing, spread through social relationships. So instead of having brick and mortar stores that you go in and you look at the products and you buy them, multi-level marketing companies are selling by relationships and through people. And what that means is that you're getting, or I'm getting, direct messages, text messages, conversations of like, hey girl, I noticed X, Y, and Z about, like, you mentioned this about not liking your hair. I have shampoo and conditioner for you that will change everything about your hair. Or like, hey girl, I saw that you were saying that you had a zit on social media. Have you ever tried this product that will take that away? And so it's like, I wish these were not true, but they literally are. So when I think about MLMs, I think about the way that it affects my social interactions. Has anyone ever tried to sell you a product through an MLM?
I was in one when I was in high school.
Oh.
Yeah. I remember, I think, and I don't
I
don't remember much about it, but I remember one point knocking on doors trying to sell long distance cards. This was back in the day when.
What are long distance cards?
Back in those days, you had to pay for long distance calls. You don't even remember that, do you? Because that was before you were born. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to pay 25 cents per minute for a long distance call outside of your state or outside of your calling area, and you could buy these cards that would give you a bulk, and it would not cost you as much to buy a long distance. And so I remember knocking on doors trying to sell those things, and and that sort of stuff.
What made this an MLM versus you just selling door to door?
It was done through one of the major MLMs. And, there were all sorts of things that I could have been trying to sell, but for whatever reason, that one got on my radar.
You were just like, it's these long distance cars. Yeah. Did you ever try to recruit anyone else underneath you?
I don't remember. I know that I was in settings where it felt cringy, but I don't really remember too many details about it. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Maybe your mind is intentionally blocking it out.
It may very well be.
Because of the cringe factor.
Yeah, very well may be.
Well, I did research on the history of MLMs that I thought would be interesting to share. So they were started in the 1930s by a guy named Carl Renberg, who capitalized on America's increased interest in vitamins. So I guess that during the 30s, there was this wave where people were like, vitamins are miracle drugs. We can put all of these different things into little capsules or pills, and you can take your vitamins and you get all of your vitamin C for the day.
That was like Nutra something?
It was called Nutrilite.
Nutrilite.
Yes. And the company was a total bust at first because he just started it like a normal business, like a normal vitamin company. But then Carl went to a conference by Dale Carnegie, who is the guy that wrote the How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
And when he was at Carnegie's event, he met these two other guys named Rich DeVos, who is Betsy DeVos's father-in-law, which is crazy, and Jay Van Andel. And when he met them, he said, hey, why don't you guys distribute these for me? Like, I have this vitamin company. Why don't you go and start selling these and I'll give you a cut of what you sell? And so they ended up starting their own distribution companies where they went door to door and recruited other people to go door to door to sell their vitamins. And if you sold a vitamin, then you would get a percentage of what you sold. But the way that they initially started it is that you would have to start by upfront buying whatever, $500 worth of these vitamins. And that would be the stock that you sold from. And so in the 70s, this company got in trouble with the Federal Trade Commission because they were like, you're a pyramid scheme.
Well, why don't you go back up just a second and explain the levels before you get to that point and redo that.
The levels of MLMs?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why they were recruiting these people to go door to door with them is what makes it kind of like the pyramid shape of things. I feel like I'm on The Office where he was explaining pyramid schemes, so I'm not going to do that right now. But basically what would happen is Rich DeVos would have 4 friends and he would say, I'm going to recruit these 4 friends to buy $500 worth of my vitamins and then sell them, and they get to keep a percentage of their profits. And then if those 4 friends recruit 4 of their friends, then they're going to go and sell to all of their friends or door to door. And then it keeps on growing out. But who ultimately is getting a percentage of everything that's being sold? Rich DeVos at the top. But then those 4 friends, if they recruit 4 friends and then they recruit 4 friends, then they get a percentage of everyone that's underneath them. And that's what makes a multi-level marketing company different than like you starting your own business.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it a pyramid scheme, is that shape, the pyramid shape of what you're doing. So in the 70s, the Federal Trade Commission basically accused this company of being a pyramid scheme. And they were like, this is illegal, you need to stop it. But they got out of it by basically saying that they forced their distributors to use or sell 70% of that initial stock that they bought before they could buy another refresh. Meaning, if you bought $500 worth of vitamins and you didn't use or sell 70% of that, you're not allowed to buy more. So they were saying, see, we're not predatory because these people are selling their stock before they have to buy new stock. And how is that different than any other business?
Yeah.
And the Federal Trade Commission took that as a good excuse. And they basically were like, okay, on your way then. But then they made the 70% rule based on that, which is what MLMs still live by to this day. Isn't that fascinating?
That's very fascinating, yes.
So basically, the 70% stock piece is what keeps these MLM companies from not being considered pyramid schemes.
Okay.
So when you bought your long distance cards, did you have to buy a bulk of them and then sell them, or were you able to buy one by one?
I do not remember.
Oh my gosh, Lee, these details, the fact that you don't have them, it's killing me. It's destroying me on the inside.
Well, yeah, just imagine if I really were 30 years older than you, how much problem I would have remembering all of this.
Would MLMs have even existed is the question.
Right.
They would have been before that. What decade were you selling these in?
This would have been in the 80s.
So right when these things were really taking off?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You were a trendsetter.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you think about it, I could have added your name and this is an MLM person. So here's what I want to talk about as it relates to today. First of all, does anything about MLMs hit you anyway? In terms of ethics, in terms of concerns?
Well, I wouldn't have had, I mentioned a moment ago the kind of cringe factor that I remember. And I wouldn't have had language for this then, other than I could just tell that there was something about it that was cringy. And I think that it would be that it feels like some sort of commodification of a relationship that does not feel good to me.
Yeah. Like the very structure of the business itself.
Right. Yeah. And that, on the one hand, if you had something in which, like a co-op, for example, where if a group of people who are going to use a set of products all come together and they decide we're going to use our bulk purchasing power and it will lead to financial benefits for all of us as a group of friends or neighbors or just people in a given area are going to buy certain things, and that lends a certain profit to us because of our cooperative purchasing power. Well, that doesn't strike me as cringy. But I hear at least, the structural difference here is that it seems that the people on top are benefiting in a disproportionate way to the people below them.
Right.
And so it's not the same in that regard as a co-op because of the power differential or the profit differential, depending upon where you are in the structure. And then again, going back to what I said a minute ago, there are certain things that seem to be commodifying a relationship that seems to me to be probably what I felt to be cringy when I was in high school.
And to your point about like the differential in terms of profit and money that you make, that's really developed over time and has gotten more honed in, where the people on the top really are disproportionately benefiting in a way that people on the bottom are not. So to give you some stats, because the Federal Trade Commission just released a study in like the last 5 years about MLMs, and 99% of recruits of MLMs lose money.
99.
1% make money.
Wow.
And the reason why that is because now when you are in an MLM, you are making more money, not from selling a product. So if you sell oils or shampoo or whatever, it's not from the actual sale of a product. Now you're making money by recruiting more people.
Yeah.
So the more people you recruit, the more money goes upstream back to you. And so your goal turns from, I'm going to sell this long distance card or shampoo to these neighbors, and instead switches to, I need to recruit as many people as I can to be on my team, because the more people that are on my team, the more money I'm going to make. But that leads to 99% of people losing money.
So it's a kind of almost a full instrumentalization of the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not even a financial benefit of the purchase of a product. It's all about having more people in the downstream so that you can make money. Yeah.
And that's not even necessarily how it started, but that's how it's evolved over time, which is kind of wild to think about. But what's kind of ironic is that if everyone recruited 5 people, so if I was at the top and I recruit you and 4 other people, and then you each recruited 5 people, that could only happen 13 times before the whole world's population would be taken up.
Well,
so it's false. Like it's a
Yeah.
false narrative that everyone can be making money, because by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th level, there's no way to possibly recruit enough people to
Yeah.
actually be making money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that kind of disturbing?
It's kind of disturbing. Tell me more about why this particular topic bothers you.
Which leads me to women in MLMs.
Well, here we go. Here we go.
Women in MLMs. So 75% of MLM distributors are women, and 75% of the products that are sold to women.
Huh.
So MLMs are a very women-dominant thing at the moment. You are an outlier, and then the founders of MLMs are an outlier. In modern times, women are the target of multi-level marketing companies. So in the early days, of MLMs, many women didn't have job opportunities outside of the house. And so MLMs were seen as a chance to earn money and gain some type of independence, like financially. So if it was like, we're selling pots and pans, then women would host, like in the 60s and 70s, they would host parties where all of their other mom friends would come over and they would buy these pots and pans. And then each of these women could actually like make money from that. So I think that that's a positive way of looking at how potentially it could give women who otherwise maybe didn't have opportunities to work outside the home some financial independence. But the negative side is that a lot of people say that the reason why it spreads in women's circles is because women are more social in general than men and have stronger social communities. And so MLMs know if they target women, that women will do the work of selling their products because women have all of these social and relationship networks. So that feels like a little predatory to me, particularly given now if 80% of people in MLMs were making money, I would feel differently.
Yeah.
But because 99% of people aren't making money, it feels predatory to me to be recruiting women based on their social relationships, knowing that they're not going to get the thing that they're promising.
Right. Yeah, no, that certainly makes sense to me.
Isn't that disturbing?
Yeah.
An MLM called Avon back in the day couldn't get their products distributed to rural communities. So they basically started it as an MLM and depended on rural women to sell products to other rural women because they knew that they would be able to get around quicker than their own distribution chains would allow.
Yeah, fascinating.
I think that that's where I'm like a little iffy on MLMs.
I mean, one of the things, I think we've talked about before, in our day and age, everything's commodified, and it's just another example of there are certain goods that are intrinsic goods that ought to just be left alone because they're good in and of themselves. And when you have kind of mammon trampling into the realm of intrinsic goods, it always ends up feeling somewhat predatory.
And you're using mammon in the biblical sense.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what mammon is?
Just the god of wealth and money, right? So when we let pursuit of profit always trample into every arena, it really can mess up some things that ought to just be left alone and let them be good.
Yeah, the beauty of women's communities potentially being poisoned by financial gain and commodification is, I think, what feels the iffiest to me.
Yeah.
And I think, I was joking about those like messages that I would get and stuff, but I actually texted a bunch of friends before this episode because I knew I had friends in MLMs that had left to see if one of them would be open to coming on the show. And they weren't, which is totally okay. But they did say, like, you can say anything that we've said in these group threads if that would be helpful. And a lot of people said that the reason they signed on is because they were lonely. That when they were recruited, that the reason they signed on was not just because of finances, but because they were promised, like, hey, you're being entered into this like womanhood and into this like girl boss club where every week we have a Zoom with 50 other women and we're all talking about growing our businesses. And they said that it offered them a sense of connection and community. And for them, like the promise of belonging was really the sell there, which also kind of broke my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of taking predatory to another level.
Yeah, preying on lonely people to go sell your products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Knowing that it's just never going to work.
What else did you learn from talking to friends that have been in them before?
I asked them why they left. And for a lot of them, it was when they realized that there was zero chance of them ever making money. So for them, the community wasn't enough to keep them. My guess is because the community is predicated upon we're all going to build this business together. And then after a couple of years, when you realize, oh, I'm building this business for you, not for myself, then that just breaks down at the end of the day. And so for them, it was ultimately when they realized like the system doesn't work, that they took a step back and weren't part of it anymore. Yeah. So
did you see anything about what the growth curve has been of people being involved in MLMs?
Right now, worldwide, MLMs make up a $40 billion industry that 60 million people are involved in.
And is that continuing to grow, or is that smaller than it was previously?
I have not seen a chart of that. My guess is, though, is that it goes in waves.
Yeah.
If you get in, something I was reading from the Federal Trade Commission's analysis is it's if you get in on the front end is when you're most likely to make the money, then the business grows, then it dissolves. And that has happened over and over and over again with MLMs. Some exceptions to this, Mary Kay, Rodan and Fields. So some companies have managed to be able to stay afloat, but like there was this massive company during COVID called Beauty Counter, which rebranded to something just called Counter, that legitimately people were making millions of dollars off of on the top, that now today does not exist.
Really?
And during COVID, it was the biggest thing, and it does not exist anymore.
Wow.
So my guess is that it happens in waves.
Yeah. People rediscover this as a way to distribute a whole lot of product. And then once it runs its course, it falls in
It
on
dies.
itself.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So what's your big takeaway from this conversation?
Well, I just kind of wanted to talk about it. I mean, I think am I missing any positive sides? Because I feel like I actually just kind of went hard on MLMs.
You did, but that's okay. I mean, it'll be interesting to hear if anyone listening has positive things they want to share about it. So
I imagine if you were in the first round of people, that it could have financially changed your life.
Yeah.
There's probably positives there. I imagine that for stay-at-home moms who otherwise would not be able to like have different jobs because of scheduling or whatever, that it could offer them an opportunity to make some money and perhaps be parts of communities at its best. I think that could be a positive.
Yeah. I guess I would still hope that there could be some other ways that one could find to make some money and to discover some community that didn't quite commodify relationships that way.
That would also be my hope as well. Yeah. Because it does feel like the toxic sides outweigh the good sides, but I could be missing something. And I do want to name that my opinion is strong here, and I know that it is. And if anyone disagrees, I am totally willing to hear it.
I look forward to hearing what you hear.
I do too, Lee.